Zoom is another popular platform for live interaction. Zoom actually is a paid app, but they also support a free version, which may be adequate for most of our purposes. So here is the workflow for using Zoom. You need to sign up for an account. You can do it at this URL. It is preferable to download the Zoom app, even though it has a web support. It is not very stable, so it's best to download the app. And it has an app for Windows, Mac as well as Linux. In fact, the download for all this is pretty straightforward. I'll quickly show it to you in demo. Once you download the app, there's a login screen. You can log in, and one of the first things you should do is you should go through settings and make appropriate choices. There are many choices. We will look at few of them shortly. After that, you can potentially start, schedule or join meeting. How to do this, we will see as part of a demo. And when you do this, you get a link, which is what you share with your students. And using that link at the designated time you can join. And when you join, again, it is a good practice to mute your audio, disable your video. As a teacher, you can share your screen and window with your students. And then you can engage with the participants. Here it is important to establish a protocol. What I mean by this is the participants should follow certain rules of engagement. In other words, one of the rules could be that when they join, they should have muted their audio as well as disabled their video. They should not share their screen unless asked by the teacher. So the second rule could be that if they have any questions, they should raise their hand, and only when addressed by the teacher, they can talk. So these ensure a smooth operation. Zoom provides quite a few features. It permits you to mute, unmute all participants as well as individually. That is very useful. You can chat with the participants. You can also record your session, which you can later share with those who may have missed the meeting. In case some of your students have poor internet connection, this is some ways to deal with it under Zoom. You should definitely encourage the video to be turned off, at least for all your students. If video is really needed, don't choose HD video option. This tends to consume more bandwidth. How to do this setting, we'll see shortly. And screen sharing also, you should not do unless absolutely necessary. There are alternatives to this. So for example, your slides you could share with your students a priori, and you are just using the audio feature of Zoom where you talk, everyone listens, and you navigate through slides. Something along the lines of where you specify, I'm now talking about slide 1, and then you talk about slide 1. Then you say, I'm going to slide 2 now. Please, all of you go to next slide, and then talk more about slide 2 and so on. So this ensures that the bandwidth consumption is less. Even audio, you should be muted and it should be enabled only when speaking. So all this ensure that you don't consume too much bandwidth and will help students with poor internet connection. So here is the good and bad things about this platform. It has a separate app for all platforms, so it also supports all platforms, which is good. The free version supports 100 participants, but unfortunately has a 40-minute time limit. What this means is at the end of 40 minutes, it will chuck out all the participants. But that's okay. You can always restart and everyone can join again. But this will definitely distract your class if it is beyond 40 minutes. Zoom has quite a few nice features. So for example, you can mute all participants. That way you as a teacher have more control. Students can raise their hand if they have any questions, and you can see who is raising their hand and address them. You can also admit all without explicit approval. In other words, if you say anyone can join who has a link, if you have, let's say, 100 students, you don't have to click 100 times to admit each and everyone into the Zoom meeting. It also permits you to record the session so that you can share it with your students later. Zoom has even more features, but these are under the paid version, which is a bit expensive, so we'll not talk about that. In our usage of Zoom, it works, but it is also slightly unstable. We have faced disconnections when using Zoom, and the Zoom app also has crashed once in a while. So if you want to know more about Zoom, there are lots of videos, tutorials shared by Zoom. You can refer to this particular link. If you want to use Zoom, one of the first things you need to do is to sign up. For this, you need to visit this URL, zoom.us, and you can sign up here. It is free. It will ask you for some information. You enter it. You will get an email. Based on that, you can set your password. That way you have an account. As I mentioned earlier, it is always good to download the Zoom app. If you want to download the Zoom app, you need to go to resources and download Zoom client. Depending upon what machine you are opening it from, since I've opened it from a Windows machine, this download is giving me a Windows installer. Had you opened it from a Linux machine, it would give you a .deb file to download. Just download the relevant file, click on it, and the installer will run and install Zoom for you. This works in Windows and Linux as well, so it is a pretty straightforward installation. You should not have any difficulty. After installation, when you open the Zoom, it is asking you to sign in. You have to use your email and password to sign in. Then it is going to take you to this screen. After your login, you may want to set some parameters that will apply to all your meetings instead of setting them individually for each meeting. So for that, you can go here and click on settings. There are a lot of settings you can potentially do. You can go through this in leisure. Many of them you can just leave as default. A few things I wanted to point out though. One is under video. Ensure that my video enable HD is disabled. Otherwise, you are going to consume a lot of bandwidth. The other thing which people may also want to experiment is with virtual background. This is needed if you want to hide the clutter in your room from your students. The rest of the settings, in fact, when you schedule a meeting, you can configure, and what you configure there apply for all the meetings also. So we will look at it at that particular point. Here, just ensure these two things. In Zoom, you can start a new meeting. This is for ad hoc meetings where just like that you want to start a meeting and have. As teachers, we often want to schedule meetings. So for that, this is a useful thing to do. Students will use the join to join the meetings which you have scheduled. So let's start with schedule as a teacher. So you can give a name, your course name, and often these meetings are recurrent meetings. So it is just best to select a recurrent meeting. That way you can use the same URL and password for meetings again and again. You don't have to keep sharing a new URL for each meeting. So this is a convenient feature. This personal meeting ID is not available in the free version, so ignore that. So meeting ID is generated automatically. That is what happens in free accounts. You have no control. Meeting password you can definitely set. You can either choose whatever password it has selected, or you yourself can set some password. Definitely choose a password that is much stronger than this. You can also decide when you are joining whether the video should be on or off for both you as well as participants. I'm keeping it off. If you want this meeting linked to your Google Calendar, you can select that option. In which case you have to do a little bit more, you have to give permissions to Zoom to access your calendar. A few more clicks are needed. Advanced options are also useful. You definitely don't want to enable waiting room because then you have to admit each one into the meeting. If you have 50 students, you have to click 50 times. So I've disabled that. Enable join before host. This is up to you. Mute participants upon entry is a good feature to have. And if you really want to record all your meetings, you can also select this option. I'm not selecting, but you can decide. And then you do schedule. As you saw, it took me to my calendar, but don't worry about that. If you click here, you saw that this reoccurring meeting has appeared here. This is the meeting ID. You can do this copy invitation. So if I can see this here also when I show meeting invitation, this is what the copy invitation is. It gives the password, it gives the meeting ID as well as the URL. This is what you need to share with your students. If you want to make any more changes, you can always edit it again here. So let's go back to home. So once you schedule, when the designated time comes, you just need to click on start by going to meetings and then start, and the meeting will start. So let's do that. So it takes you to an interface like this. So here also you have more control. Select your microphone, you can select. You can mute it as well by clicking on it. It has muted my audio. Since we selected no video during the setup, it has disabled this. This shows the participants. When students join, you will see a big list. One nice feature about Zoom is if you want to mute them all, you can click on this, it will mute all. If you want to unmute all also, you can do. That is a nice feature of Zoom. If you want to chat with participants, when you click on chat, it opens a chat window. You can chat with everyone, or if you click it when there are participants, you will see a list. You can actually chat with a specific participant also. You can share your screen. So when I click on this, it will ask you what to share. You don't want to share the entire screen. You can specifically share a specific PPT file or something like this and share. You can record your meeting. So when you click here, it will, because I have unmuted myself, you should unmute it and then click recording. You can also pause, stop recording when you are done. So this is again another nice feature of Zoom. So I'll just stop. Closed caption is provided by Zoom, but this isn't really helpful because it expects someone to do the captioning, some participant to do the typing for you. It doesn't do auto. But if you want some student to take notes of this meeting, you can potentially assign a participant to type, and they can type whatever conversations have happened on this. But as I said, this is not a very useful feature, auto captioning. So let's not bother about it. If you want to end this meeting, you can click on end and it is going to end this meeting. So this is in some sense the interface for the host. So let me end this meeting. Go back to home. Students are, since I've recorded something, it'll ask me where to save it. So you can specify where to save it. This I'll just ignore for now. As students, you can join a meeting where whatever meeting ID your teacher provided, you can enter. This is me as a student, Kameshwari Chebrolu. The host is someone else. I can mute myself like this. I can raise a hand if I have a question. So in the list of participants of the teacher, that will show a hand like this. That means I have a question. I can also share some thumbs up reactions where here it shows that this person has given a thumbs up. So these are two things from the student interface. Otherwise, the interface is more or less like a teacher's interface. If you, by the way, you may have noticed that if I raise hand, if my doubt is cleared, I can also lower my hand. So let me leave this meeting. So we have seen join, we have seen schedule. New meeting is very similar. If I just on the spur want to start a meeting, I can do a join meeting. Here is the invite link. I can copy it and share it with my participants. This information I also gives the same information. In Linux, sometimes this does not show, in which case you can click on I and it shows this information. So there isn't much difference from the scheduled meeting once you enter the meeting. So this is more or less Zoom. It has a lot of features and is worth exploring.